Wow, look at this news, guys. New MTG Secret Lair to showcase artwork from legendary fantasy illustrator Frank Frazetta. How should we feel about this? Good. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing for Sorcery. That's how we should feel. I want to say thank you to WotC, to the guys running Magic the Gathering. This is absolutely huge, enormous windfall, great news for Sorcery. And I'm going to get into why, but let me paint some context here. So this announcement came out, This was dated November 30th. So was that yesterday? Yeah, today's December 1st. So yesterday, November 30th, this kind of broke, started leaking all over social media. They introduced these various cards, and lo and behold, several of these, at least three, as I recall here. Yeah, these three, 1, 2, 3, boom, are the exact same cards that were licensed to Sorcery. And that was announced during the Kickstarter campaign back in, what was that, March, April, May timeframe? Let's call it March. I can't remember exactly. It's been several months now. So that news came out. This news came out. Everybody started hitting me up yesterday saying, wow, what do you think about this? A lot of people are saying WotC ripped off Sorcery, and they're copying what they're doing. They're trying to kill Sorcery, all this stuff. The reality is this has probably been in the works for a long time. And I don't know that either party had knowledge that the other was doing this, is probably the reality. I'm sure that Eric's Curiosa had no idea that WotC was looking into doing this. And I also don't think that this just happened, after the March announcement. I think that it's more likely that WotC plans out their Secret Lair strategy for several months or quarters, or let's call it a year or two, right? These things take lead time. You got to reach out to the Frazetta estate. You got to negotiate, reach an agreement, get contractual things in place. It doesn't happen super quick. So I don't think they did this reactively to Sorcery securing that license. Or maybe after that, the Frazetta estate even reached out to WotC. Who knows? And good for them too. That's the other thing. This doesn't reflect poorly on a Frazetta estate by any means. It's very clear and evident that they did not have an exclusive agreement with Eric's Curiosa, the creator of Sorcery, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to do this. But they did do this with WotC. So they must have a non-exclusive, and actually that was confirmed by Eric's Curiosa yesterday, one of their employees. That they have a non-exclusive agreement with the Frazetta estate, which means that the Frazetta estate can go license Frank's artwork to whoever they want to. And why is this good? Well, this is, what the best kind of marketing is? The one you have to put zero energy into, $0, zero time, zero distraction, nothing. It's just out there for free. So when people go to the Google machine and they type in Frank Frazetta card, they're going to find all kinds of hits. And right now it's early days for Sorcery, right? Because not a lot of people, it's not even out. It's not released yet. I'm just a hardcore fanboy and obsess over it. But, coverage is going to pick up, right? So you scroll down, you see some old fantasy cards. This isn't a first, by the way. Look, you have Frazetta playing cards, you have Frazetta trading cards, you have this Frazetta card and dice battle game from 2018. So, there was even a game made out of it before. This isn't, entirely unprecedented. But you're going to go here and look, here's my website, www.collectorarthouse.com. And you discover amazing looking Frank Frazetta cards licensed to Sorcery. All right, so if we go back here, another thing I wanted to talk about is look at the artworks that were revealed. It's very interesting. So this one's pretty amazing and epic, right? This battle scene. But the three, so Death Dealer, obviously that one's being used in Sorcery. Dark Ritual, Field Marshal, Midnight Reaper. Those three are in Sorcery. So this is an alternate art for Occult Ritual that was released as a Pledge Pack promo as part of the Kickstarter campaign. This one I think was called Ruler of Thol in Sorcery. And then you have the Death Dealer, which MTG used for the Midnight Reaper card. All right, so that's one point. These three out of the 5 that are going to be in a Secret Lair are in Sorcery. 3 of 5, right? So one point is it possible that we might see this temporal manipulation or Seize the Day, these 2 artworks by Frank, also in Sorcery? I would say it's possible, if not likely. Maybe This would be a good question for Eric and the team. Did they select certain artworks? Egyptian Queen is one that's notably missing from Magic, and they shy away from provocative artwork, right? So of course that's not going to be in, so that was omitted. But it makes you wonder, right? How do you end up with 3 of 5 in the Secret Lair? Is that purely coincidental? Is the Frazetta estate willing to license some artworks and not others? That could be a possibility. So if that is the case, then maybe we see one or both of these 2 cards. So that's one point of speculation. I think there's about 35 cards that have not been revealed for alpha yet, so there's definitely some surprises coming in the official release. So I would anticipate maybe you see more Frazetta cards. That's one point. But then let's break it down. Beyond the free advertising, people are going to Google Frazetta cards. They're going to find the WotC card. And then what's going to happen? They're going to find the Sorcery cards. So you're going to get free traffic to websites like mine. Thank you very much, collectorarthouse.com. You're going to find YouTube videos. People are in a frenzy right now making videos about the Frazetta card. Even if it's only about the Frazetta cards for Magic the Gathering, it's turning people on to who Frank Frazetta is. So, fantasy nuts, fantasy art fans, fantasy lovers, they know who Frank Frazetta is. He's a legend in fantasy art, right? But there's a lot of younger people. Frazetta passed away in 2010. He was kind of like, he was big, for the past few decades. So younger folks don't know who he is, honestly. They're learning about him for the first time through Sorcery, which is a small upstart game at this point. And now he's being exposed to millions and millions of people in the Magic community. So when they go and search for Frazetta videos, for Frazetta websites to go look at the cards, they're going to find Sorcery. So huge, huge free marketing win for Sorcery here. And then let's go and take a look at the cards. All right, so Death Dealer, that's the first one I have out. Let's do a compare now. This is the next thing that's going to happen. Like, how does the Secret Lair card compare to the Sorcery cards? And it's going to be polarizing. Everyone's going to have their opinion. There's going to be the hardcore Magic fans and then the us biased Sorcery fans. I played Magic as a kid, so I like to be somewhat objective. But find me the person that objectively says that having an oversized, suboptimized card box that wastes a ton of space with this minimal text is a good idea. And by the way, it cuts off half the artwork. This is like a hate crime against art, honestly. I mean, objectively, do you want the card that cuts off half of the natural artwork? Even with this see-through shadowing, there's a lot of stuff obscured by the text. It's darker, so it's tainted. And in here, you have this nice, clean text box, more appropriate spacing of text, so it's still aesthetically pleasing. It's not like crammed in there, right? But it's appropriately sized to serve its purpose without detracting from the art. The artwork is prominently featured, so you get the prominently featured important part of the full composition of this Death Dealer artwork, which is super iconic in Sorcery. And so that's one point, right? And then let's look at the others. I think I had a few other side-by-sides. So that was the Death Dealer. Okay, Occult Ritual. So people are gushing over this card, and yeah, it looks awesome, right? Look at just the Magic card. Can I zoom in just that? I messed this up. So I'm trying to obscure. All right, just take a look at this. I know it's not perfect, but looking at just the Magic card, yeah, that looks like a hot card, right? Oh, but now drag in the Sorcery card. Wow, look at that. Now I could actually see the majority of the Frazetta artwork. So good, the top part, it's pretty comparable. It's a small text box up there. And then, but the big thing down here is this just looks lazy, honestly. And I'm not trying to be critical of Magic. Again, I played it as a kid. I'm nostalgic for the early vintage stuff, but this is lazy art design, and I understand they're trying to be somewhat pure to the touch and feel of a Magic card, but why would you not compress this more tastefully? Now, I'm not an expert on modern Magic. I don't play that at all, so I don't know if these are, from what I understand, these might not be tournament legal. So there's some element of maybe you want to preserve the normal look and feel of a Magic card. But the Secret Lair, from what I understand, is more of a collectible, right? So why would you not make it more aesthetically pleasing to collectors? This is dual purpose. This card can be played. It's going to be tournament legal, if Sorcery goes the tournament route. But that's a totally playable card that fits the same format as the other cards, and it just prominently features the artwork, which is awesome for collectors as well, and art enthusiasts that just want to collect and have a beautiful binder that looks like a hand-painted artwork showcase. as opposed to this, where unfortunately this is largely obscured, So side by side, that matters, and people are going to discover that. And now the third point here, Ruler of Thul, I don't know how to pronounce that, versus Field Marshal. Again, just objectively looking at it, what's better? To see most of the Frazetta artwork? They both look great because it's Frank Frazetta artwork, fundamentally, right? He's amazing. But here, look, I get the Frazetta signature. I can actually see that. I know who created that. It just feels like the original. You can see most of the bottom elements, and sure, this is partly obscured. Maybe if that was a little more transparent, you'd get the benefit of this one. You could kind of see what's going on here a little bit, but it's truncated. Like, this is largely obscured, whereas this gives you this whole extra polar bear guy here leading the sleigh, and it just looks better, like, honestly. Left to right, even the color aesthetics. This is a water card, so you get this nice blue text box. Just the detail is tremendous. And on that point, let me go back to the Death Dealer. So here, this is a fire card, right? So you get the red border up top, the red down here. It's kind of got this like marble design on the border. It just looks like really well thought out and well done. It's also kind of like a curved, like beveled edge type thing that just looks amazing. There's some character and flavor to the font that was selected. Reminds me of Steve Jobs, like a guy who was meticulous about font. I think Eric's a meticulous art director and art designer, and it really shows in the artwork. And you get multiple layers of this is awesome, right? Death Dealer, great name. Midnight Reaper, yeah, maybe people like that. Fine, we'll call that a draw. The artwork, prominently featured Frazetta artwork. And I hate to do this comparison. I don't want to disparage Magic, but it's important. I mean, Sorcery deserves kudos for the level of detail, level of meticulous attention that went into the aesthetics of these cards, because art matters. You want your collection to feel good. You want your cards to feel important and valuable. And Sorcery is the biggest A+ I've ever seen in that regard in terms of card design. That's why so many people are super excited about it. But let's keep going. Now you get the type line text, right? So a new, innovative, creative way to say this is the rarity of the card. A unique mortal and artist of the afterlife. All right, so let's break that down. Unique, that's the rarity. Mortal, that has a relation to the game mechanics. I won't get into that so much. But a unique mortal and artist of the afterlife, which is just feels like a touching tribute to Frank Frazetta. As I mentioned, passed in 2010, I believe. So he's living the afterlife, and he's not forgotten. He's memorialized in these cards, and I think he's paid the utmost honor and tribute through the detail in these designs in these Sorcery cards. Okay, and any of the text box, again, the entirety of the text box is minimalized to feature the important aspects of the artwork. This is true of every Sorcery card. And then the artist is prominently featured front and center. The text is all nicely centered within the text box, so it's beautifully spaced, very legible. That's important for gameplay. That's important for just the aesthetics of collecting and appreciating the card. And then art alpha symbol, Frank Frazetta, right? It's beautiful. And then again, you have his signature down there. It's not obscured. It says, 1973 this artwork was done. So you have his, it's dated and signed like the original artwork. It just feels like an original painting or artwork. Instead of this kind of like border design that's put on here. I appreciate they tried to go full art style with these secret layers, and the transparent box gives you some of the background feature. So also on that point though, to Sorcery's credit, these are also going to show up as foil cards. And on the back of the foil card, you're going to get a full art version that has none of these text boxes. So you're just going to have the fully featured Frank Frazetta artwork in all its glory, and you're going to have that for every Sorcery card in Alpha. So all of the foils will have the full art back. So again, every one of these Frazetta artworks you're going to be able to appreciate in its entirety with no text box obscurity. And you like foils, you just flip it over and you're going to have incredible foil design that also had tremendous amount of attention and detail into making those really pop. I think those are going to look incredible. We can't really fully fathom what those are going to be like yet because we've only seen pictures, and with pictures, lighting matters. Even with video clips, lighting matters tremendously. It's never the same as having the card in hand, and I've had many sample cards in hand, so I've gotten a the feel of what a sorcery non-foil card feels like. But even I cannot even fully fathom and imagine what the foils are going to be like. And I know I'm going to definitely fully appreciate the full arts. So it's going to be a real hard call. I'll be flipping those things like crazy, looking at the foil, looking at the full art, looking at the foil, looking at the full art. So again, yeah, great, good. This is going to sell out, you know. Frank Frazetta is an absolute legend. They're going to do tremendous with this. Good for them. They're going to make a ton of money. Hopefully, the Frazetta estate got a huge windfall from WotC and their deep pockets at Hasbro, and great on them. Good for them for making a lot of money. I don't see it as a slight to Sorcery at all, you know. It's just a good business decision, you know. Put them out. You know, Magic is the #1 top game, irrefutably, in trading card games, right? No question. And I don't think they're going to topple over and crumble and go away. And we don't want them to. They are lifting up Sorcery. They're drawing attention to Sorcery with this. And this is going to live on forever in perpetuity, right? Because people are going to go look for the Frazetta Secret Lair, and then they're going to go discover Sorcery naturally, because they'll be side by side in the SEO of websites. They're going to be discovered in Google searches, on YouTube. Everyone's already talking about this. It's only going to pick up more and become more and more discoverable as the Secret Lair comes out for Magic, as alpha cards are on the street for Sorcery. This is a huge win. I really think that's the only way to look at it. This is a huge, huge win from a marketing perspective and awareness perspective for Sorcery. You know, it only matters for Sorcery if the game is great. It's got to be a good game. It's got to resonate with fans. It's got to be collectible too, because that matters for trading card games. Let's be honest. It should have value. And if they do those things, then this matters a ton. But that doesn't matter at all if you don't get awareness for your game. So again, I mean, I think this was coincidental. I don't think either party knew of the other. I certainly know that Eric's Curiosa did not know that Magic would do this. I don't know the other way around, but I don't care either. If WotC consciously did this, good too. If they think that's going to kill Sorcery, dead wrong. You know, it's going to draw awareness and it's going to give them a fighting chance. So thank you, WotC. Appreciate it. This is the Sorcery Contested Realm Secret Lair. See you later, guys.